What if I told you that you could win a political argument and still be wrong? Have a completely factual argument and still lose. It's not because you're stupid. It's not because your facts are wrong. And it's not because the other person's smarter than you. It's because you and the other person are arguing for completely different things. It's because you and the other person might be trying to answer two completely different questions. And once you begin to understand the values behind some of these political beliefs, you can understand why they believe what they believe, and more importantly, how to figure out what you believe yourself. In this video, I'll explain to you why there's so much political conflict, why differing viewpoints are a good thing, and most importantly, how to find out what you believe yourself. The reason why everybody has such different opinions while still having strong arguments behind them is because underneath each of these opinions, they hold different values, and these different values influence you to go down different lines of thinking and believe different things, or again, value different things. And so at the end of the day, a lot of what political arguments are is you trying to force the other person into believing in your value, but that's simply not going to work out. You're not going to convince somebody else's value only using your logic. I like to use the topic of immigration as an example. A lot of people that are pro-immigration are pro-immigration because their values are ones of equality and helping out other people in need, because allowing people to immigrate to the United States does give a new opportunity to a lot of people that didn't have one initially. On the flip side, though, there's also people who argue against immigration, and they value more of prioritizing your own people and making sure you have the best country for the people already there. And it's a totally different value that leads to totally different arguments and disagreement on the point. But at the end of the day, both arguments can be totally logically sound, and nobody's going to convince each other. Now, initially, this difference in value kind of seems bad. You want to be able to convince the other person to your value system because, again, if you value it, then that's what's important to you. But let me explain why this is actually a good thing and that we should be happy when there's differing viewpoints brought up. I like to take those same values from the immigration example, namely equality for everybody in the world versus prioritizing the best needs for the people already in your country, already there. You see, the people that value equality, while it does lead them to be pro-immigration, it also influences many other aspects of their lives and their opinions in life. So again, the people that may value equality, they may be social justice warriors or fight for marginalized groups. And that's an important thing in society because oftentimes we tend to not treat others fairly, right? Throughout history, we've seen that. And so having a counterforce against that natural instinct to help keep things fair is a great thing to have in society. On the other side, the people that value prioritizing a group also contribute a lot to society. If you look at a business example, oftentimes businesses have shareholders that the business's goal is to prioritize the needs of the shareholders. And I think just in a general business sense, the people who, again, prioritize smaller groups tend to do really well at stuff like that and getting stuff done, making sure something's the best of the best for that group without having to cut through all the weeds of making sure it's equal for everybody. I hope that made sense. Anyways, you can kind of see from that example how the different values that people may have that bleed into politics also lead to many different actions just in life in general that all contribute to society to make it what it is today, right? And so that's why having those differing values, those differing viewpoints is actually a great thing. If everybody only prioritized the group, then there would be people that would be marginalized and ignored. Their opinions wouldn't be thought of, right? So everything in society is a balance. You need the counteracting forces to balance each other out. Because of this, the real answer to politics is that there isn't just one answer. There are multiple correct opinions based off of your value that can be logically sound and work together and balance each other out, right? And that's not to say that every opinion is correct. I mean, you still have to have your facts right, but at the end of the day, it's not beneficial to get hung up over the details of who's right and who's wrong and trying to find holes in somebody's argument when really your values are going to change what you deem correct, right? And you see that time and time again in political debates where you just can't seem to convince your opponent, and that's because you never will, right? But the next time that you are talking to somebody about politics, I urge you to try and think a little bit deeper as to why the person believes what they believe. What core values do they hold that lead them to that belief, and appreciate them, right? Because those core values lead them to also do something else beneficial in their life, you know? On the flip side, and probably more importantly, I urge you to also think about your own political beliefs and try to get to the root of why you believe what you believe, right? Try to understand the values that drive your thinking. Because when you can understand that, that's going to help you live more in line with your identity. You can make choices based off of purely those values, right? Because you know that's what you value rather than some arbitrary framework that you've come up with for yourself, right? And I know there's a lot of values out there. It's kind of a mess of words that you may or may not even know what they mean, right? So I've actually gone ahead and put together a chart of a whole list of values that you can pick from. And you can, I think my recommended way to use it is to eliminate half the list at a time. Eliminate those values that you resonate with less. So it's not overwhelming you with like the 50 values on the chart. You eliminate half at a time, and you go through and eliminate half again, and you slowly whittle down the list until you get to your top 3 or 5 values, and that's really what you value in life. And then, yeah, take those and apply them to a lot of your decisions and beliefs you have and see if those apply, right? And once you understand those values, you can attempt to try to live more in line with those values and more balanced in your life. I appreciate you guys so much for coming to watch this video. I appreciate you guys so much for coming to watch this video and sticking through to the end. I hope that you can try to apply what we talked about today in your own life and learn and grow from it. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe. Anything will help me out to grow my channel so more people can see content like this. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.